Who am I and why am I the right guide for you in this journey? I have a master's in business psychology from UCL. I used to be an executive coach before becoming an ADHD coach. I'm a master strengths practitioner, which means I'm really, really good in seeing the strengths in people, and I know the science behind it as well. I'm a master level ADHD coach, meaning I even mentor other ADHD coaches, and I have all the accreditations that come with this. But I think what qualifies me the most to be in front of you today is the fact that I have late diagnosis for my dyslexia and for my ADHD. So I really know how this feels inside out. I know how it feels to be later in life diagnosed with this and not understanding what's wrong with you. But I also know how it feels to understand how your brain works and with the right strategies being put in place, how everything changes. This workshop is me sharing with you without holding anything back the strategies about how to manage the paradox of ADHD. The first stop that we're having is really having a better understanding about how do you process information. And you have a link which will take you to the 8 processing modalities, which are golden. If you're going to ask me as an ADHD coach, what I can tell you is that understanding the processing modalities, the strengths-based approach, and how to build the right scaffolding around you form 80% of managing your ADHD, particularly if you run your own business. So let's begin by understanding what are the processing modalities. I've learned about them at the ADCA school in New York, and I would say it was a game changer for me. It's more than just the way that you learn, it's the way that you form your memories. You can't remember something that you didn't pay attention to in the first place. And the way that things are being communicated to you really help you form that memory. So I'm going to invite you to go quickly through the PDF where we go a bit more extensive, and I'm going to have a very quick stop through all the 8 modalities to help you recognize them, particularly if you like listening to things. But I really want you to not only understand them on an intellectual level, but then process this and see how can you implement things around you that are going to speak your language. I need you to be an advocate for yourself. I need you to not assume that everyone is going to understand this. I need you to have the right language and have the right boundaries and communicate to people what you need, because this is massively going to influence the way that you will retain information. And we know that we definitely benefit from having a strategy for this one. So the first part is understanding. As I said, you have all of this in the PDF, but let's go quickly through them. The first one is auditory processing, meaning you take your information in a verbal format. So probably you like listening to audiobooks, you like listening to podcasts. In meetings, you're not taking notes because you're just listening. If that's you, make sure that you let the people around you know that you're not taking notes. Perhaps you bring Otter AI in the room so it can take notes for you in your Zoom sessions. But other than that, you need to prioritize to listen to things and don't get distracted with other things. If you're the type that process information in a visual way, this means that you like your charts, you like your diagrams, you like your pictures, and you need things probably to be written down. Don't be afraid to say, can you put that in an email for me if that's you? Because it's going to save you a lot of time later because you're not going to remember and what's going to happen. So I really want to encourage you to be an advocate for yourself. The next processing modality, which is one that is very common for us with ADHD, is verbal processing. Probably you've recognized already that as you're raising your hand to put a question and you're able to say the question, you just answered your own question. Or like you really feel that you put your thoughts in order as you are talking to people. I am going to show you how to use ChatGPT in order for you to create less overwhelm in your head, because sometimes there's so many things open in our head, just like you have too many tabs open on your computer and you don't know where the music is singing from. You really benefit from talking it out. Maybe you're going to do it with your journal, maybe you're going to do it with your friend, with a coach, or with assistive technology. The trick is, if this is you, so if you process information verbally, make space for it in your diary. Be your own ambassador. The next one is the kinesthetic processing. Maybe you're the one that fidgets on the chair in the meeting, or you're doodling, or you prefer moving as you are talking to people. You're pacing around the office. If this is you, no problem. Just let the people around you know, because otherwise, if they are not aware about this type of processing modality, they're going to think that it's rude or that it's distracting. What I like to do, when possible, schedule meetings that are outside and go for a walk. Maybe it's going to be face to face if you're in the same city, or maybe you're just going to have your Zoom app on your phone and just have the meeting outside as you're walking. It's really going to help you retain the information, or let the people know that you enjoy doodling and that you're going to be able to retain information better. Sometimes people wonder, why am I not taking notes and I'm doodling? Because I also have this kinesthetic processing. And if you have it, it's not a problem, but make sure that you act as an ambassador and you educate the people around you. The next processing modality that we're looking at is the tactile processing. Basically, you use your hands. When you get furniture from IKEA, before you read the instructions, you put your hands on it and you assemble it by yourself. Maybe you look at the instructions if you really got stuck, but the first thing that you're doing is using your hands. If this is you, the more that you could build stuff, the more it's going to help you retain information. Obviously, it depends on the industry that you're working in, but maybe drawing is going to be the second best. So you're still using your hands. You're not typing, you're using your hands. So make sure that you get your hands into action if this is you. The next one is conceptual processing. You like to understand the big picture and the relationship between the ideas. As you're getting a new idea, it needs to connect to something. You like mind maps. And if this is you, make sure that you are going to honor this. And if you are not clear on what people are saying, ask as many questions as you need so you can have the clarity on how this connects to the bigger picture. And then you'll see they're going to have no problem in retrieving information. The last two ones are really important ones. So emotional processing refers to your ability to retain information and to process information through an emotional connection. Meaning, as someone is talking to you, you need to connect with it emotionally in order to remember this. And here's the trick. If you're going to be able to do this for yourself and you run your own business, then this is a double win. Because also people make decisions based on emotion. So if you're going to be able to relate to people in your commercials, in your ads, in the way that you talk to them with emotion, because you already do this for yourself, then truly it's an advantage, because you're not only going to be able to get across to them, but you're also going to be able to see an increase in your profit. The last processing modality is not going to come as a surprise to you, and probably it's in your top 3 if you haven't suppressed it, but it's the intuitive processing. This means that you rely more on your instinct or on your gut feeling. Sometimes you just know. You meet a person and you just know something about them that later on is going to become a reality. Or when you take intuitive decisions, they turn out to be the right decisions. These were the 8 processing modalities, which I invite you to take very seriously, not only for digesting the information that I'm offering in this workshop, but also in your way in interacting with the world. It was a game changer for me, and I have to be very honest that even as a psychologist, I wasn't aware of them. It was only when I got my qualification in ADHD coaching that I understood the importance of this. Because for us with ADHD, we can't remember something that we didn't pay attention to, and the way that we form that memory is heavily reliant in the way that you process information. So if you want to see an increase in the things that you are remembering, make sure that you identify what is your main top 3 processing modalities, and then you do something about it. You don't just understand it on an intellectual level, you process it and then you implement the changes. If you process information by reading, so if you process conceptual information, I invite you to download the ebook, which is particularly written for entrepreneurs, but also for the ones that have an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm Rosana Tashku. I am an ADHD coach, business psychologist that is rooting for you to find the advantages in your life, to get better organized, but in a way that is ADHD friendly, that is working with your brain, not against your brain, because there's nothing wrong with you. You're different and you don't have to change, just the scaffolding around you needs to change. And the moment that you're going to understand that, I promise you, your life is going to look very different.